Welcome to our video on March 2020 astrology forecast with full moon happening in Virgo on the 9th of the month at 5:48 p.m. and that's Universal Time Coordinated. Now the healing note, the healing musical note in the ancient Western arrangement for Virgo specifically is the note C. So we're going to play that note with the tuning fork now. It's for healing for Virgo, and remember Virgo, the full moon will be in Virgo on the 9th. All right, now also in the there's going to be a new moon that's going to take place at 9:29 a.m. UTC, and that's going to be in Aries, okay? And that's going to happen on the 24th of March. And the healing musical note for Aries in the ancient Western array for healing the body, Aries is D. It is the note D. That's for healing Aries. And that's going to be the new moon on the 24th. There we go, D for Aries. Okay, now also this month, we're going to have Venus in Taurus is going to be trine Jupiter in Capricorn. And that's going to happen on the 28th of the month. And Mercury goes direct on the 10th of March 2020. Now we'll give you all the important planetary facets, the astrology charts, horoscope houses, and zodiac angels coming up. I'm Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. I'm a Rosicrucian seer, biblical astrologer, Christian psychic, and Gnostic mystic. And this is a Readings by Rosemary angelic transmission. Now first, our disclaimer: high magic should be used with all mindfulness since very powerful forces of manifestation are unleashed. This is intended exclusively for entertainment purposes. Okay, now first we're going to talk about March. March's full moon, and it's called a chaste moon by Wiccans. So here is the chart. This is not an astrology chart, but it's just my little representation of the chaste full moon. Again, it's called a chaste moon in March. March's full moon, chaste moon by Wiccans. And also in medieval England, it was called chaste moon. Now, neo-pagans name March's full lunar phase as a death moon. And the chaste moon and the death moon denote nature's restraint at this time. Nature sort of holding back, not ready quite to go into springtime. Now the colonial Americans used to call this March's moon fish moon, and also the Algonquins name it worm moon. Worm moon. Okay, so this is a very transformative time. So while the neo-pagans and Wiccans with their death moon for neo-pagans and chaste moon for Wiccans, again, that was showing how nature sort of held herself back in sort of the winter time in order to not have spring happen too fast, because if you have too much heat, it becomes, you get too many deserts and deforestation, and if you have too much cold, then it also causes things to be arid. So balance in nature of dark and light, night and day, winter, summer, spring, and autumn, all these things are to keep everything in a nice balance, Mother Nature's balance. So now on the other hand, when these colonial Americans looking for fish moon look for the behavior of fish during March's transformative time, and Algonquins, they hoped that the worms would begin to appear. They just popped little heads up indicating springtime. So that was a hope that they would want spring to come so they could start having fruitfulness. But again, nature knows best, and we must follow nature's lead. Now, the guardian angelic forces for March 2020 include elemental archangel Uriel. Elemental archangel Uriel. Okay, since Virgo the Virgin is a mutable earth sign being water of earth. And elemental archangel, the other guardian angel for March 2020 is the elemental archangel Michael or Michael. Since Aries the ram is a cardinal fire sign being cardinal fire, being fire of fire. And the Merkaba field for Uriel, for the earth signs, this is the Merkaba field for Uriel and the earth signs. So if you're calling, this is not for earth coordinates, this is for celestial coordinates, which are different than earth coordinates. We're not going to get into that right now. I did make a video on that, but we'll get into that at another time. Now, from Michael or Michael, the Merkaba field for fire, all the fire signs for the fire guardian angel for Michael. This is the Merkaba field for Michael the archangel. These are their elemental guardian archangel forms, okay? And Merkaba field, Mer meaning rotating fields of light, Ka meaning spirit, and Ba meaning soul. Soul. Okay. Now, we're going to, again, March of 2020 we're going to give you lunar phases and the planetary ingresses, natural horoscope houses. We're going to give you station changes, planetary aspects, elemental and planetary guardian archangels. And we're also going to give you the zodiac angels, all using universal coordinated time, which is basically, it's analogous and basically the same thing as Greenwich Mean Time. But so Greenwich Mean Time can sometimes go into other things that denote when there's like a daylight savings time, like British summertime and those kind of things. But that's why if we use UTC or Universal Coordinated Time, or Universal Time Coordinated, it's sort of just it's without all that, and it's sort of more standardized. But it's basically like Greenwich Mean Time. Okay, now we're going to just now give you a few of these. We're going to talk about some of the ingresses and the full moons, and again the station changes. Okay, now on March 4th of 2020, Mercury, the planet Mercury, is going to ingress into the sign of Aquarius, which is similar to the natural 11th house of friends and reputation. And planetary archangel Raphael of Mercury, planetary archangel of Mercury is Raphael. It's also the guardian angel of all the air signs. But in this instance, for Mercury, the planetary angel visits habitation of zodiac angel Cambriel. And Cambriel is for Aquarius. That's the zodiac angel for Aquarius, is Cambriel. And on March 5th, 2020, we got Venus ingress Taurus the bull, which is akin to the natural second house of money and possessions. And planetary archangel Anael of Venus is going to visit the abode of zodiac angel Asmodel of Taurus, okay? And on the 9th of March, we have a full moon in Virgo. And here we have the full moon in Virgo. And again, that's going to be on the 9th, and we gave you the musical tones. And remember, that's analogous to the natural 6th house. Virgo is analogous to the natural 6th house of habits and health. And those sort of daily routines and doing all the things that you need to keep yourself fit and in good working order. Now, planetary archangel Gabriel, who's the planetary archangel of the moon and also of all the water signs. In this case, where it's the planetary archangel of the moon, will visit the dwelling of zodiac angel Hamaliel of Virgo. Okay, elemental archangel for Virgo is guardian angel Uriel, who we mentioned earlier, who presides over all of the earth signs. And remember, for Uriel, this is for Virgo because it's a mutable earth. This is Uriel, the Merkaba. It's like a three-dimensional Star of David, and it looks like some shapes of some spaceships I think I've seen in some movies. And that's what that is. Okay, now it's a Merkaba field for Earth. And now, again, March's full moon, called chaste moon by Wiccans, neo-pagans, named as full lunar phase, death moon, and the colonial Americans refer to it as fish moon. Now, March 16th in 2020, we have Mercury ingress Pisces the fish, which is similar to the natural 12th house of spirituality. And planetary archangel Raphael, again of Mercury, visits habitation of zodiac angel Int'l of Pisces, like Int'l, Pisces, and ocean, amniotic fluid. You see how these are related. Now, March 20th, Sun ingress Aries, the ram, which is akin to the natural first house of self and appearances. Planetary Archangel Michael, or Michael, who is the planetary archangel of the sun and of all the fire signs for the elemental, but in this case for the sun, is going to visit the abode of zodiac angel Melchizedek. Notice how Melchizedek and Michael sound very much alike. It's about fire, fire of fire. Aries is fire of fire, and it's initiatory fire, cardinal fire. Melchizedek for Aries, and we had given you the divine, also the healing tone, musical tone for that. And on the 24th of March, we have the new moon in the sign of Aries, the ram, here. New moon in the sign of Aries, the ram. And remember that Aries is akin to the natural first house of self and appearances, and the new moon is more receptive in its expression. Planetary, so you might get some self-consciousness at that time about yourself and appearances. Now, planetary archangel Gabriel, who is the planetary archangel of the moon, is going to visit the dwelling of zodiac angel Melchizedek of Aries. Now, elemental archangel for Aries is the guardian angel Michael, who presides over all of the fire signs. So that's a guardian angel Michael. In that case, not just being the planetary archangel of the sun, but in this case, because it's a new moon, being the guardian elemental archangel of all the fire signs, since Aries is cardinal fire or fire of fire. And again, for Michael, the Merkaba field is this, or all the fire signs. When you call the watchtowers, this is not, again, this is not on the Earth coordinates. In the heavens, which the six-dimensional, these polyhedrons and these kind of things are for celestial coordinates, not for Earth coordinates. Okay, and they're positioned in a different location because of where Leo and Taurus and Scorpio and Aquarius are. All right, so that's going to be for the new moon in Aries on the 24th. And we're going to have on the, I should have said this earlier, excuse me, on March 22nd, 2020, I should have put it before the new moon, the planet Saturn is going to ingress into the sign of Aquarius, the water bear, which is similar to the natural 11th house of friends and reputation. So a very important time, because Saturn's all about discipline in building your reputation and your friendship. So with Saturn ingressing Aquarius, the planetary archangel Cassiel of Saturn visits habitation of zodiac angel Cambriel of Aquarius. Now, March 30th, we have Mars ingressing Aquarius also, so a lot going on in Aquarius. Friends and reputation. Remember, Aquarius is akin to the natural 11th house of friends and reputation. So again, we've got Mars, which is about competition, self and appearances, and all of that kind of thing, and an ironclad will going into Aquarius. So we've got a lot going on in Aquarius, a lot of willpower, a lot of discipline. So people will want to really hone things in. Just make sure you stay balanced, and that you don't, kind of let go of one thing in favor of another. Try to keep your life balanced as these things go on. And remember, again, Aquarius, it's 11th house for the natural house, friends and reputation, and the planetary seraphim Samael visits abode of zodiac angel Cambriel of Aquarius. Samael is the seraphim Samael of Mars, and the zodiac angel Cambriel Aquarius. Okay, now the station changes. March 10th, 2020, we have Mercury turns direct while transiting through the sign of Aquarius. Again, a lot going on in Aquarius. Since Aquarius, the water bearer, has the divine tone of I know. Expect modes of transportation and modes and methods of communication to become more enlightened, more helped, and more advanced forward for you. Messaging and visiting others and going to see them and have them see you, and how you message one another, all will be done with more sincerity, because of direct Mercury going direct. It'll be done with more ease and more openness, and especially, you know, when it comes to the areas of friendships and how people speak and characterize one another. Because remember, you have Mercury is going to be in Aquarius, friends and reputation. So you see how that will work for everybody. Be a time to really focus on your reputation and the kind of friends that you have, and how you're going to want to make that so that you feel that you're doing well, but also that you're being sincere and open and honest with your friends. Now, we're going to now look at some of the planetary aspect charts that I've created for you here, and we're going to first take a look at March 3rd. And I'll bring this in just a little closer for you. Okay, so what we have is on March 3rd, we have Venus in Aries is going to be square Saturn in Capricorn. So we have Venus in Aries on the red line square it's going to be square Saturn in Capricorn. And you can, I put a link in the description that takes you to Pastor Rosemary, the Astrology Angel. It's a blog I have about specifically where I put my charts so you can see them real well, and specifically for the planetary aspects. And I give you the definition and I give you the charts. And I also have my Readings by Rosemary. That's on Facebook anyway, the Pastor Rosemary Astrology Angel on Facebook. And then I have where the charts go and the planetary aspect description blog. And then on Readings by Rosemary, I have the blog for these monthly vlogs. Okay, so you can check those out on Facebook, and they're in the description box below. And you can also click on it in the description box below and bring it right up for you. Now, what Venus in Aries square Saturn in Capricorn on the 3rd, and this is universal time coordinated again. What's going to create? It's going to create self-esteem. And having a competitive edge in romance creates tension when it comes to maintaining self-discipline for gaining status and reputation. Now on the 4th, 2020, and this is going to be here, on the 4th, we have Mercury retrograde still, because it doesn't go direct till the 10th, okay? But it's in Aquarius. Mercury retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, the water bearer, sextile Venus in the sign of Aries, the ram. And that will create messages about the status of your friendships and your other relationships are going to get muddled with a bit of help from rivals in matters of love. So people might tell people, kind of muddle up or murk up the communications. Your rivals in romance might try to mess up messages and tell people, you know, give people information, say that you said things you didn't say, or say that you did things you didn't do, or say things that aren't true, and try to, you know, maybe harm your reputation. So that's again caused by the Mercury retrograde in Aquarius, sextile Venus in Aries. So it's going to be where the messages, because of the retrograde, will get muddled again from help of rivals in matters of love. Now, just like nighttime is important so that we don't all burn to death, sometimes negativity is important so that the ego stays in check. That doesn't mean that it's a punishment. It means that it's a soothing. Okay, it's a soothing. Because since you cannot control what other people, you can control what other people say by doing magic, you can. But what makes it easier is if you understand that if something happens, you can also find that what's good about it and understand, according to Kabbalah, what your next desire is. And then when you do that, it will straighten the situation out immediately, because what it will do is it'll bring the situation to a point where something very good will happen to you that maybe you didn't think was possible to happen. And it'll bring you to a new dimension of understanding. Whereas if you stay only in low magic and try to, you know, tie ribbons around, you know, cow tongue and things like that, you know, you can do it and it works, but it keeps you in a lower dimension. If you want to come from the higher dimensions and just have it done for you and more easily, when things happen, whether they seem good or bad to you, just like when a kid doesn't know that the mom says, you know, don't play with that dangerous weapon or something, you know, don't play with that knife or that gun, and takes it away from the child thinks he's being punished, but he's not. He's being helped. He or she is being helped. And this is the way it is with the Creator helping us. You think something's negative or positive. What you think is positive may be very bad for you, and what you think is negative may be very good for you. Just like sometimes night needs to cool and day needs to warm. So just understand that, okay? And it'll make it easier for you to deal with these situations and not get so caught up in everything having to be one way and one-sided and unilateral. Because if you want to be spiritually mature, you're going to have to understand that you might not be able to see the whole picture, whereas Creator sees the whole picture. And in reality, Creator is nothing but who? Your higher self. And your higher self is only doing what's best for you in all your incarnations. All right, now we're going to take a look at the next set of things we have for you here, the planetary aspects, and we have the 8th. The 8th here and the 11th here. What we have is on March 8th, we have the Sun in Pisces. Sun in Pisces, conjunct Neptune in Pisces. So conjunct means they're either in the same sign or the same house. So let me clarify this. You'll find that some astrologers will say that a conjunction is when it's in the same house. And then other astrologers will say it's when it's in the same sign. So what you need to understand is that it's either house or sign. And usually it's the same, but not always. Sometimes it's the same house, but not the same sign. Sometimes it's the same sign, but not the same house. But it's not more than the 8th degree orb apart. Okay, so it's close together in that 8 degrees or less orb. Okay, and it's house or sign will be in the same zone. Okay, so that's to make it very clear, because you know, studying these things, you can get you know, the information can get muddled, but that's precisely what it is. Now, also on March 8th, we have Venus in Taurus conjunct Uranus in Taurus. And now for when we have the Sun in Neptune on the 8th, excuse me, I'm sorry, the Sun and Neptune in Pisces, excuse me, when we have the Sun and Neptune in the sign of Pisces in a conjunction, dreams will become reality when appreciating the idealistic nuances of friends and lovers. Okay? And then when we have on the 8th also Venus in Taurus conjunct Uranus in Taurus, that will cause creature comforts to become easy to acquire when the bottom line is built up sort of leisurely and casually with consistent resolve and determination. Now on the 11th of March, we have the Sun in Pisces sextile Jupiter in Capricorn on the green line. And that's going to cause idealistic musings and ideations about spiritual truths becoming believable when lucky opportunities for acquiring more clout are offered. So you'll find that you're going to get more lucky opportunities, and you're going to be able to get more clout and more prestige. And you'll find that some of these spiritual truths and some of these Kabbalistic truths that we're talking to you about actually do come true, and you really don't have to work so hard. Now, it doesn't mean that doing, you know, more low magic or earth magic isn't helpful sometimes, and it's good for grounding. It's fun. So I'm not putting it down. It's very, very helpful for grounding. It's very helpful for centering, getting you back in touch with the earth when you've lost your touch with the earth. Whether it's Father Earth and Mother Sky like the Egyptians believed, or Mother Earth and Father Sky like other people believe, it doesn't matter. Nature is it's something that we need to be connected to, and low magic is very helpful. That's why I love Wicca. But Also, sometimes the Kabbalistic higher world truths are helpful too, because they keep you from getting bogged down in the slowness of the earth plane. And it gives you a way to understand how your spirit will be in between lives, in between your incarnations. Now, on March 14th, let me get the next charts for you here. Okay. We have the 14th, excuse me, I got the wrong one. Let me get the right one here. Okay. All right. There we go. Sorry about that. We have on the 14th is here, and we're going to have the 19th to the 22nd here. All right. Okay. So on the 14th, we have Mars in Capricorn, sextile Neptune in Pisces. So we have here Mars in Capricorn on the green line, sextile Neptune in Pisces. And that will cause great strides in socioeconomic status. It's going to be made, are made profitable and are easily accumulated from otherworldly trends and vocations. And on the 14th also, we have the Sun in Pisces here. And that's going to be sextile Pluto in Capricorn also on a very close green line here. And you'll be able to see how they're, it's like a little tiny X, just very few degrees apart, which you'll see plainly if you go ahead and click in the description box on the 14th. You'll see this in the Pastor Rosemary Astrology Angel Facebook blog. And for the Sun in Pisces, sextile Pluto in Capricorn, it's going to give insights about how to revolutionize opportunities for people to gain popularity and status and to prove themselves to be very valuable. And on the 19th, here on this chart, we've got the Sun in Pisces, sextile Saturn in Capricorn on the green line here. Okay? So Sun in Pisces, sextile Saturn in Capricorn creates wishful thinking about bolstering influence, and position is slowly brought down to earth, like we were talking about, when austere regulations are applied for safety, and that's exactly what we were just talking about. So it's not always a bad thing when regulations have to come in and make things a bit more safe, so that so things don't spin out of control, because you don't want things spinning out of control. Okay, on March 20th, Mars in Capricorn, conjunct Jupiter in Capricorn, conjunction, resistance to following social or institutional rules. So again, resistance to following rules, whether they be social or institutional, it will increase. That resistance to rules will increase when a wide variety of new opportunities and prospects for accumulating fame and fortune are presented. So when people get presented with more opportunities to be able to climb up the social ladder, or get more prestige or more fame or more fortune or whatever, when they get more opportunities, they won't feel like they have to follow rules and regulations. But that doesn't mean that eventually they won't have to follow rules and regulations somewhere. But the best rules and regulations to follow are your own. You know, if you follow your own rules, you don't really have to follow other people's rules. I like to say, if you control yourself, then others don't have to control you, or control yourself, or others will. Okay. On the 22nd, on this chart, we have Mercury direct. We have Mercury direct in Pisces. Remember, Mercury goes direct on the 10th in March. So that'll help those communications between friends and lovers and all that clear up, okay, on the 10th. So Pisces, Mercury in Pisces, with Mercury now direct, sextile Uranus in Taurus on the green line here, okay, and that will sort of cause that using your intuition will be important to communicate with others, other people, other creatures, your pets, whatever. Provides innovative ways to make money and to collect possessions and creature comforts. Again, using your intuition, your innate psychic ability, your intuition to communicate with others is going to provide innovative and novel ways to make money and to create and collect possessions and other creature comforts. That'll be very helpful when Mercury goes direct in Pisces, okay? Okay. All right. Now, the reason on the 10th it's going to go direct in Aquarius, but by the time we get to the 22nd, it'll be in Pisces. So it doesn't go direct on the 22nd. It goes direct in Aquarius on the 10th, but it will be turning. It will be moving. Excuse me, making an ingress into Pisces, and it'll be direct on the 22nd when it is in the sextile with Uranus in Taurus. Okay, now on the 23rd, we're going to get to another set of charts. Okay. Thanks. Okay. Now, what we have here on the 23rd here, and we have the 28th here. And we've got Venus in Taurus. So we have Venus in Taurus is here. Sextile Neptune in Pisces on that green line. And that's going to cause love and romance to bloom and flourish with the help of emphatic and very determined counseling from people who are very sympathetic and from family and friends. So a lot of romantic situations and your love life will improve and blossom with the help of people who have empathy and give you counsel, but that'll come from your family and your friends. And also on the 23rd, we also have Mars in Capricorn here. And that's going to be conjunct Pluto in Capricorn right there. And the planetary goals of building an efficient, sustainable, and regimented human society are achieved through governmental transformation. So that's what this is going to cause. Planetary goals of building an efficient, sustainable, and regimented human society, much like Atlantis or that kind of thing, are achieved through governmental transformation. People talk about Lemuria and Atlantis. That's how it was done. It was done through this kind of sustainable, efficient, regimented society where everybody did what they were supposed to do. Now on the 28th here, we have Venus in Taurus trine Jupiter in Capricorn. So Venus in Taurus trine on the blue line, Jupiter in Capricorn. That will cause an affection and generosity between various people and creatures becomes the norm as wealthy individuals and organizations provide necessary goods and services to those considered less fortunate. So really generous people, and are going to hook up with, and cultures are going to hook up with wealthy individuals and organizations who can help provide the things they need, the goods and services, to help those generous people get the people that they want to help the goods and services necessary. So those two kinds of people come together: the people that have the money, that maybe haven't, have saved their money, and the people that might be too generous and didn't save their money. They come together to help those truly in need. Okay, and then on the 29th, and that would be we're going to go to a different chart. Okay. All right. And here we have from the 29th to the 31st of March. From 29th to the 31st. On the 29th here, we have Venus in Taurus trine Pluto in Capricorn on the blue line. Pluto in Capricorn, Venus in Taurus trine Pluto in Capricorn. Individuals and groups who want to have power over others are going to implement social reforms that will enable them to do just that. Okay, social reforms. So a lot of reputation, and a lot of social reform in March of 2020. And on March 31st, we have Mars in Aquarius here. It's going to be conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. And that will create motivational speakers that are very excited about creating success in the lives of their audiences, become very successful with new self-help techniques. So this is going to be, starting on the 31st, a really good trine for motivational speakers. March 31st, that Mars in Aquarius conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. That's a really good time to do that. Okay, now, good time for motivational speakers, who are really good at pumping people up, That's going to be a good time for them. Now, we're going to get into talk about the Hebrew words that go with the planet and the constellation, the Hebrew constellation. This is not the Hebrew month, it's the Hebrew constellation, okay? And Hebrew name for the constellation, Hebrew name of the planet. You find it's very similar if you find the meaning, like Shor for Taurus and Bull, same thing. So it's very similar, it's very, very similar. And when you might find out that what you think is demonic is actually not demonic, it's just in a different language, and you'll find that it's godly when you hear it in a different language. You find out that it was just a language that others thought were demonic. Okay, for the sun is called Shemesh. So, you can call it Hama, but I prefer Shemesh for the sun. Ingress, Aries. Aries is Tale in Hebrew. And again, for zodiac, it's Mazaroth. The full moon, Lavana, for moon. Keseh or Shabbat or Mashiach for the full moon. And in Virgo is Betula. So interesting, we've got that. Mashiach in Virgo. Kind of sounds familiar, like the mother, the Virgin Mother is pregnant with the Mashiach. Very important, very important. Full moon in Virgo. And we gave you the healing tone. Okay, and the 9th. And we have the new moon, Moon Lavana, and Rosh Chodesh for the new moon, or the head of the month. And in Aries again, Tale. Mercury is Kokav in Hebrew, and Ingress, Aquarius. Aquarius in Hebrew is Dali. Mercury is also going to have another ingress. So Mercury Kokav will ingress Pisces later on, as we saw, or Dagim for Pisces. So Kokav or Kokab for Mercury, and Aquarius is Dali, and Pisces is Dagim. Okay, now moving now to Venus. The planet Venus is called Noga. Very beautiful morning star. The morning star is feminine when she's Venus, and she's masculine when she's Mercury. Okay, there's a morning star Mercury and morning star Venus. So Venus, Noga, Ingress, Taurus, or Shor. Shor is Taurus the bull. Mars is in Hebrew Ma'adim, Ingress, Aquarius. Aquarius is Dali. Jupiter is called Zedek in Hebrew. Ingress, it's not having any ingresses, so it doesn't have any ingresses this month. Saturn is called Shabbatai in Hebrew. And Ingress, Aquarius, Dali for Aquarius. Uranus is called Oron in Hebrew, and there's no ingresses for Uranus. Neptune is called Rahab, and no ingresses for Rahab in March 2020. And Pluto, there is no Hebrew word, and there is no ingress this month. So that's to conclude that for you for now. Now, try to keep in mind that achieving goals and accomplishing phenomenal success through magical interventions are all possible if one knows when and whom to evoke. Magicians must also consider how various planetary and zodiacal angelic beings will interact with each other, making sure to invoke or invoke. To evoke is to call. To invoke, en is to call into your sacred circle. To invoke is to call into yourself. Potent forces of light that will extend into facets of the Magi's life, predetermined by her or him for specific purposes in alignment with true will. And magic must be taken seriously, since it is an ancient method of manifestation intended for practical victories over constricting forces which set our 3D physical reality into motion. Magic has rules just like any other science. which must be devotedly applied to practice. Magicians strive not to break natural laws, but rather to understand how Mother Nature manifests her creations so that we are able to work directly in tandem with her. Information found in this document is based on the oral tradition known as Kabbalah, taught to me by Rosicrucian clergy when I was but a young girl, the facts of which I have committed to memory. Thank you for joining us, and please join us again